Wholeness, beautiful beings. Welcome to Notes of Nara. My name is Nadja Rashida, and may this message find you well and whole. Happy Friday and happy August. We are in the 8th month of this year, so we've got about 4 more months left of this awesome 2025. A lot has happened. I'm actually, the later I get into this year, the more I see a lot of growth and a lot of insight and expansion. So the topic of this month is the heart. Yes, the heart space, the throne of our emotions and our feelings, where we can kind of, in the heart, we don't have to think so much. We don't have to solve any problems when it comes to the heart, because the heart just knows. The mind is all about solving the problem. It's all about finding solutions. It's all about, organizing your ideas and compartmentalizing very difficult life experiences. But the heart is present. It's always present. Unlike the mind, the heart, to me, in my perspective, in my opinion, the heart is the place where we can connect with the now, the be here now. And so today's specific topic, we're going to talk about self-honesty and, what does it mean to betray your own heart? A lot of the time when we experience an emotional wounding of our heart space, it's unpleasant. It hurts. They say that the deepest and the most impactful, insignificant amount of pain that human beings can go through is the pain that you cannot see. Meaning you see someone who's broken a leg or has had a heart attack or, somehow they've injured themselves, right? There's physical pain, but then there's a type of pain that is so disconnected and so isolating from the all, and all that you can experience is your own. You're like trapped in your own bubble, your own prison. And Sting, the musician from the Police, the band The Police, he wrote this song. It was shortly after, a couple years after his divorce from his first wife. Fortress around your heart. If you build this fortress, or if I build this fortress around your heart. Which I mean, he's a great songwriter. He's one of my favorite musicians, artists out there. He's well into his 70s now, but I've always loved his musicianship and how he words. He's very poetic, and a good storyteller. But yes, it's that type of pain where you build a fortress around yourself. You build a fortress around your heart, and so how does that tie into self-honesty? Being truthful with yourself. When you're able to be, number one, awareness, always awareness. We always must start with the awareness, because when you are aware of your own wounds, that's step one in healing. That's step one in processing. That's step one in alchemizing your experience. So I find that with awareness, this leads to an opening, an opportunity for hidden truths to come about. it's not necessarily who has wounded you anymore. I think after becoming aware of your own wounds, yes, you must identify the source of the pain. Where is this pain coming from? How was it caused? The cause and effect, the other characters in the story, who all partook in this experience that has led you to build this fortress around your heart, right? You have to identify the narrative. You have to identify the story. You have to identify the characters. You have to identify the blame game. You have to, it's takes a while. But then you get to the point where these hidden truths, these gems. I'm so sorry. Someone's knocking out there in the hall, so not my door, but I don't know what's going on, so excuse that. I will say, you go through the awareness, then you go through the identification, and then next, then you uncover these truths. And you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. And this, I think the third step is such a pivotal moment for people, for individuals, men, women, especially adults, usually children. I mean, that's usually when you're at this point in your lifetime, you are no longer a child, right? And just so you know, I'm not going to answer that door because I'm making this video. So whoever's knocking, we're going to have to knock. I feel that, in your childhood, that's where all of these, these seeds and not so great experiences, the childhood trauma, right? Those type of seeds, those trauma seeds are planted. And then many years later, then you start practicing awareness and then identifying. And then you begin to uncover hidden truths. And with these hidden truths, you have to be honest. You have to sit with it. You have to taste it. You have to feel it. You have to think it. You may even have to re-experience it, whether that's with a therapist, a spiritualist, a friend that you trust and you can, a confidant. You're working with somebody at this point, like it's not always the best thing to heal the heart completely alone. I don't think that that's very healthy. And so, yeah, I find that it's definitely a process for sure. But this is where it gets tricky, right? Because yeah, you can uncover truths about yourself, but are you willing to accept it? Are you willing to sit with it? Are you willing to speak it out to yourself? Are you willing to stand by it when approached by the world? When approached by the person who hurt you? When approached by family or friend or lover or stranger, right? This is a test, I think, for you, for all of us. When we are facing our truths, are we willing to stand by it with integrity? Are we willing to be able to stand firm in it confidently, without buckling, without trying to hide? Because this is where it gets messy. In my experience with working in mental health and psych health with children and adults, and I'm just observing people in my life that I've worked with during my travels, living in different places in my country and the world, and just living life, experiencing life. People do this thing where they will betray themselves. They will betray themselves. They will betray their truth that's sitting in their heart. They know it to be true, but they reject it. They will betray it. I'll give you an example. You have one heart that falls for another, and they both become one. They both unify. But before this unification, one is sitting in their truth. The other isn't quite there yet. They're not there. They recognize that they're truths. They're these jewels, right, within their kingdom or queendom, right, of their heart, their fortress. But they haven't quite processed or alchemized it. It hasn't become them yet. And there may be shame. I've spoken about desires of the heart, or your heart's desire, right? Your heart's desires. And a lot of the time, people feel so much shame about their true desires because they have fallen into the trap of creating this very specific, well thought out, detailed storyline that if they go outside of that story, they will be abandoned, they would be looked down on, they would be just cast out, people would judge them, right? And a lot of the time people will betray their own hearts. So you have two hearts. You have one that has become unified in their own wholeness, in the truth of their heart, and then you have another that hasn't quite, and they're not there yet, but they meet and they unify anyway. Over time, when in a connection, you have the hormones, you have the infatuation, you have the romance, you have all of these beautiful layers. Well, over time, the true nature of the heart, the heart's desire, the heart's desires begin to unfold before the beloved, to each beloved. This is something that happens subconsciously. This is something that happens metaphysically, spiritually, and yet it manifests into the physical. Because when you truly are loving another, whether that is your child, or that is a lover, or that is a friend, or that is a group of people, the true nature of the heart begins to unfold. All of the wounds, all the past wounds, all the good things, the beauty, all of it begin to unfold before the other. And sometimes if you're truly not in alignment with your own heart, you will betray it, and then this will then manifest into a betrayal towards another, unfortunately. And whether that manifests into infidelity, or that manifests into maltreatment of the other, it's always something that causes a chasm in a connection that can be very difficult for people, for the connection to kind of heal itself. It's like taking an axe. For every time you lie, you're lying, you're betraying your heart. It's like you take an axe to a tree. The tree has the ability to heal itself, but it will always wear that scar. It will always have that mark, right? And so that's what happens when we do that to ourselves, when we begin to mark and scar ourselves because we aren't, or we're struggling with having confidence in our heart's desires and the truths that sit within us. And the thing is about your heart's truth or truths, you can't force it on anybody. You can't make someone agree with your truth. You can't enforce something that is uniquely and authentically yours and then imprint that into someone else's being so that you can have your way, so that the story you create in your mind, in your head, works out perfectly fine because you force them to be this certain character in your story. Very difficult, this, but again, step 1, awareness. Step 2, identification. 3, it's recognizing, it's the unfolding of what truly is within you. And you have the choice, the free will to accept or decline. But know that every time that you accept, you expand. Every time that you decline, you contract. what I mentioned before at the beginning of this video is that the mind will have something to do. It's a solution-based type of energy. That's the vibe of the mind. Give me something to think about. Give me something to dream about. Give me something to create. Give me something to solve. The heart doesn't need to do all that. All the heart wants is to be free and open and in flow. Because it wants to give. It wants to receive. That's the true, if anything, we all have our own unique heart desires. We do. Not one person has the same exact, right? You can share similar for sure, but not everyone has their unique blueprint of their heart energy, their heart space, right? I was going to go with that. That's all right. I just got another idea or something I want to share. Think about what your heart looks like. What kind of fortress? Because we all have a fortress around our heart. We do. Especially if you've been wounded, the world has wounded you, a lover has wounded you, family has wounded you, society has wounded you, or you have wounded yourself by self-betrayal, by betraying yourself. We all have a fortress. What does it look like? Is it scary and scaly and dirty and mangy looking? Does it have roots and vines around it, wrapped around the fortress? Is it brick? Is it wood? Is it ice? Is it crystal? Is it fire? Is it a castle in the sky? Is it very watery? What does your fortress of your heart look like? And with the first visual you get, follow that. Flow with it like the river. And it will reveal to you something within yourself. Awareness is key. Identification is key. Because you got to be honest, you have to identify, right? What is it I'm feeling? Why am I feeling this? What's the story? Who played the role, right? And yes, that's the heart mind. Okay? The mind will play into that. It will love it. Oh yeah, give me something to do. But that third one is actually feeling it. Feeling and opening. Feeling that wound. Feeling that truth that only you can experience. I will not sit here and claim that I have the answers. I will never do that. I am, in this lifetime, I am an active student of life and actively sharing with you all. Learning as I go. I will not ever claim to know more than what I know. That's something that when if something's false trying to penetrate your fortress, your heart, it. Like that, no. Right? And then there are things that are meant for you, that are truly meant for your heart, and you open the door. You open. Not everything is for you, and not everything is against you. That is so important on this journey, this month of the heart. Not everything is for you, not everything is against you. When you are wounded, you have heart wounds, and you've healed them, you've identified them, you're aware of them, you identified them, and you've alchemized them into something else. But the experience, you can't, no one can forget an experience. The experience is another brick or it's part of the fortress, right? It's very easy to say, oh, I've been wounded, so I cast out all. No one is allowed in my castle. No one is allowed in my palace. No one is allowed in my fortress. Not a one. You can't do that. That's very unhealthy. And that will perpetuate lessons again and again and again and again and again. And then you can't be all like, oh, everybody come on in. Yeah, it's not a party. No, it's a selective ball. Only special people are invited. Very specific energies are invited into the castle and the palace. One thing in the New Age community is like, oh, open your heart chakra. Be open, be wide open. Yes and no. You have to be careful. Because without any discernment, because the fortress is symbolic for discernment. When I think of discernment, I'm thinking of some kind of membrane, like a cell. The organelles aren't just floating all about. No, they have a cell, and there's a cell wall. And some, I know plants have a actual wall, and then they have the membrane. But, when it comes to, animals, right? A red blood cell has a membrane, and then it has organelles, and then it has the heart, the powerhouse, the mitochondria, and then the nuclei in the center of the cell. And believe you me, those that betray their own heart become hollow. They become empty. They feel that way, I should say. It's a perception. It's an illusion. They feed into the illusion that they are incomplete because they're too scared to look at what's inside, what they already naturally have. That's meant for them. So they'll bypass what's meant for them to get to what fits their story. The story that they've created in their head. They'll bypass the specific beautiful gem or crystal, an opportunity, a person, a situation, circumstance that's meant for them. Truly. And then they'll beeline to something that is not meant for them. And then they end up creating much suffering, much unneeded suffering. Have I gone through this? Yes. Have I done this to others? Unfortunately, yes. Not on purpose. Most people don't do it on purpose. Some do. They need help. We all need help, but some people intentionally go after things they have no business going after, or opening themselves up to things they have no business opening up to. All because they fabricated this story that's not real, that doesn't fit their unique, authentic, energetic blueprint in their heart. So that's all I have to say. I wanted to keep this short because there's tons for me to do, Lord. Tons for me to do today, but may this message find you well and whole. Thank you so much. Remember to expand your consciousness, evolve your human being, and embrace supreme, loving guidance. Thank you so much for being here. And I definitely look forward to the next heart episode, dealing with the heart space. And thank you for your lovely comments. I really appreciate it. I really love the engagement, and I love just the love. I love it. It's beautiful, and I'm here for it, and I receive it. So thank you so much. All right. Thank you. Take care.